What is up, fishing guys? On today's video, we will be talking about some how to fish muddy water. I mean, when I say muddy, I don't mean 2-3 feet visibility. I mean zero, absolutely zero. And that's before we get into the video, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you get more video, every notification when I post a video. And also, there will be a video coming up probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm not quite sure. I'm a little bit hesitant to post it, but whatever. It actually shows you how I was fishing muddy water, and it was a real muddy water with about 1 inch or less visibility for the most part. So these are my 4 must-have baits, and a lot of people tend to mix it up. They throw in some other stuff. I'm not brand specific, so for me, it's most about the colors and the presentation I provide. First, depending on the area, if I'm fishing rocks or grass, but or laydowns like trees in water. It all depends which bait I'm gonna choose, but for the most part, it's gonna be Texas rig or a Senko. Those are the 2 main baits that most of the time I'll be throwing, and it's always black and blue, blue and black, or June bug. But my preferred bait is black and blue. The areas I target always is back of the coves. Tree stumps is my number 1. Second, it's grass. Wherever you have grass, usually the water tends to be a little bit more clear, so fish like to hang out there. When water is extremely dirty, bass do not cruise around. They find a cover and they sit tight to the cover. Sometimes you have to do, if you find a submerged log in water near the shore, keep on casting multiple times. There will be a fish in there. I do not fish deep water. It is always shore. It basically, you have to beat the bank, and just keep on trying. When it's zero visibility, it's usually you get bigger bites, but less bites. So you're looking for those big boys or big girls. So for search bait, how I like to start, let's say grass. For grass, my number 1 will be around the grass or a little bit in the grass, black and blue, or white and chartreuse spinner bait. This is from Strike King. I got a rod coming out. This is from Strike King. These were called the Banshee. I don't know if you guys can see it. There we go. These used to be called the Banshee or whatever. The head shape, it's amazing. It just gets down in the water pretty fast. And like I said, the 2 colors that I'll use, it's 3 colors. This one I have black and blue tied on because my favorite color, bluegill, was fed to a pike. Bluegill, which is a darker color, even though the fish cannot see if it's a bluegill or something, it basically has a big profile. Darker bait, so creates a bigger shadow, and it has that vibration. Some people prefer a chatterbait, but I like it. I was on the lake I was fishing. It was steep banks, so the water went from 2 inches to 6 inches. Well, I mean 6 feet within a foot. So spinner bait, I can let it drop, and as you guys can see on the bottom. Let me see. Let me get there. Right there. I don't know if you guys can see it right over here. I was actually fishing it down on the bottom on the rocks, and I'll pitch a couple of times around the grass. If nothing, then I will bring out this bad boy. Um, like I said, I'm not brand specific, but this guy does make amazing jigs. It is from Fergo Lures. The guy is in East Coast, Southeast. Amazing bluegill pattern. And the reason I fish this over my baits, my jigs, is because I don't have a head like this, and the way the head is shaped, it goes a lot better through the grass. Instead of having a hook tie on top, which snags up a lot of grass, this one goes through the grass a lot better. And again, it's in a bluegill pattern. Sometimes, depending if it's a little bit clearer water, I'll toss in a white, same style jig. I do not like the 90-degree ties. I like it straight, no 45 or whatever, just straight in front, so that way does not get snagged into the grass. And so when I go in a little bit deeper into the grass, I use a swim jig. I don't use a paddle. I don't use just a swim bait, Texas rigged or weedless. It's a jig. It's been working for me. I guess you can use it, but I like the jig because of the skirt. It just creates extra additional whatever vibration. And also, I'll always throw a Texas rig. How I like to hook it up. For the most part, I like to use a high-speed reel because sometimes they bite the bait and they just swim towards you. And what I like to do is I always put a bobber stopper. If I want the weight to be free and moving, I just push it a little bit back, and that way creates the extra clicking. I always put a glass bead on it to protect the knot, and also again the noise. Texas rigged. This is my 3D craw. Again, black and blue or June bug is the key. Always darker colors. And now when I'm fishing muddy water with the Texas rig, I'm not just pitching pop pop and pull it out. No, I pitch it in, pop pop, wait, and then I pop it a couple of times, and then I drag it and I'll pop it, and if nothing, then I'll pull it out again. I'll cast like maybe 6-7 inches from whatever I casted, and I'll do the same thing. It is basically you have to slow down. You have to slow down. You have to wait for the fish to locate your lure because it's zero visibility. They are using their lateral lines to key in on the bait. Most of the time, 99% of the time, they do not see it. They feel it. So when you don't make big pops. You make very, very little tiny movements. So the bait moves, but you don't pull the bait towards you a lot. So you're fishing about 2-3 feet the most from wherever you pitch, or even not even 3 feet, 2 feet max. So you have to keep on remembering pitch or cast very little movements. I use quarter ounce because I'm not fishing anything below 10 feet, and I believe anything above 0 to 10 feet, a quarter ounce or lighter, depending on your area. This is the way I like to do. And if you're fishing real thick grass, now you may want to upsize, or you have to upsize by a lot, depending how thick is the cover. But I'm not usually fishing that thick of a cover, so a quarter ounce does the trick for me. And also, sometimes when there's no a lot of laydowns, rocky areas also are most of the time a lot clearer, and I'll fish that. Transition muddy, soft bottom to rocky bottom, or rocks. Usually the key is what I'm looking for. It's rocks on the shore. And then if you look, you're going to see it's just a little bit clearer by the rocks. I have no idea why, but or that's what I have noticed. Same thing with the grass. Um, so most of the time is I just slow it down. You have to slow it down. Um, and the other thing, especially if you miss a bite, and you will be missing a lot of bites. Sometimes the fish is on there and they just sit, and then you try to make that little tick, and then you're like, oh, I got stuck on a tree branch, because most of the time you're fishing stumps and all that stuff, and it feels like you just nicked on a tree branch. And if you miss a fish, boom, black and blue or a June bug. It's the only two colors that I like to use on a Senko. I mean, not Senko, on a stick bait. I use a stick bait. You can use a Senko, which is the same thing. It's just getting them out of the plastic is soft and a lot of salt. So I do pour my own to my own likings, because it's very hard for me to find the colors I want or the colors I would like to try. Like this is black and blue with purple highlight. I am big fan of, big believer of the purple highlight. The way the fish are warm, if you put them in water, you can see a little bit purple and blue thingy. So um, I I made it with purple highlight, just for my own taste. But black and before this, black and blue was my go-to bait. I hope this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, I'm pretty sure I missed out a ton of stuff. It it just a lot of stuff to cover, depending on the situation, depending on the conditions. If it's sunny or if it's cloudy, like when I was fishing, it was cloudy, so this is why I went with black spinner with black leaves. It just creates a so much bigger shadow when it's overcast. If you have sunny, if it's sunny bluebird skies but the water is muddy, I'll go with gold blades, either Colorado or Willow or Indiana, whatever they call them. But it just, you have to slow down, beat the bank, slow down. If you think there is a fish there, multiple casts, slow down, multiple casts, walk away from the area, come back to it, and try again. Fish will always relate to cover. They're predators, but they're also prey for bigger fish. So bass would like to feel secure for an area they know, and they have a cover where they can hide, so they will be always in cover. Um, like I said, if I have missed something, jack down in the comments. The video will be the muddy lake video will be posted a day after this video, so make sure you tune in and check it out. And that's it, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one.